are back with Right Time Radio. We're so excited to be in the studio. Happy New Year, Sue.
Happy New Year, Lynn, and everybody out there. We are so glad to be back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Okay,
Yes.
well, that's good. I'm glad you guys are back. Because we kept having to put shows in. I'm like, man, this is...
Yeah, slim pickings.
Oh, there's a lot of them in there.
They're good shows,
Yeah.
but, they're worth hearing a second time. But we'd rather do them live.
So much more fun to do them live.
So much
True.
more fun. Yeah.
Because then I can pick on you and have some fun doing
Well, there's
it.
that, too, and it's not as fun
And
just
he can
listening.
turn my mic off, but
I
I
can
can't
turn-
turn his off.
That's right. I
You
have,
could yank it away from
I
him.
have the power.
We could throw paper clips at him or
Yeah,
something.
you could.
Okay.
I have that magnetic personality, so I'd...
Oh,
Yeah.
good
yeah.
one. Good
They,
one.
they'd stick to him, yep. That's how that goes.
That's the only thing sticks to me.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to 2021. Are you, Sue?
I'm still waiting to see if it's going to bite.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
I'm
think
hopeful.
so.
I'm hopeful.
I think it might nibble. I don't think we're going to have the issues we had in 2020. I just
Yeah.
don't. I hope,
Right.
sincerely hope not.
Amen.
Looking at the stats, COVID stats, at least here in the county,
Mm-hmm.
we only had, and I say only, but we only had 6
Right.
in a day, which I think is
Yeah.
really good. We're not doing it in like chunks.
Compared to the
Yeah.
rest of the world.
Yeah. And we, you know what? We're kind of wonderfully isolated.
Well, yeah, but we still have, I think, over about 4,000 cases, I think, between us and Department of Corrections, about 4,600 cases. But there's only just a little under, it's about 1,900 cases here in the county,
Yeah. Yeah.
community-wise.
Well, we've got a caller, and I know who she is, so
Yeah.
go ahead and pick it up. Okay?
Yeah.
You're on KRLN? Hello? I'm not hearing anybody.
Oh, man.
Hello?
We see the light flashing.
Yeah. Well, our guest today is going to call in, so as soon as we get her
Hopefully she'll call back.
on the line, let me tell her that. Thank God
Now
for
we're going
cell
to text
phones.
our guest and tell her to call back. But we have
Okay, now I've got...
Jean
okay.
Alfieri.
We do, and I
And-
love her. She has got
she is.
some
Carolyn?
new stuff going on, and we're so
Hi, Jean.
excited. Ah, there she is.
Yeah, we're gonna put you on there, so I want you to hang on for me for just a second. I'll be right back, okay? Okay. All right. So
Good.
she's on the phone.
Yeah, she's calling in
As you
from
can hear,
Colorado
so
Springs.
we're gonna put her up. So she should be on there right now.
Excellent.
I am. Good morning.
Good morning,
There we go.
Jean.
Through the magic of
And
technology.
Happy New Year.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
How's 2021 been for you so far?
So I can't complain so far. There have been no huge snowstorms, and everyone is healthy.
Don't say the S word. Don't say
Right.
that.
There hasn't been any white
I
stuff.
know it's
wouldn't
true.
mind some.
We've still got a little white stuff in the shadows. You know,
Yeah.
it hasn't all melted.
Mine's gone.
Did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, you usually
Mine's
get
all
more than we do for some crazy
We got
reason.
7 inches the other night. I got my car stuck in the
Where at?
driveway. Coal Creek.
Oh
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
She's just up a little higher than we are, I guess.
But in Pueblo, they got almost
I'm
nothing.
always higher.
Springs, Castle Rock, they got more. All right, so we got.
and they always do.
Yeah, we had about 3.7 inches, I hear.
That's what I saw in my
since the last one, yeah.
backyard. The gauge in my backyard is my patio table.
You know what? There's a gauge here that's the same thing downstairs.
Yeah, and it's pretty
the edge,
accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Stick
we
the
just check
ruler in.
how much is on that. Sorry.
But we have an official stick we use.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you
Will
go.
you quit kicking me?
I know I'm kicking Sue.
Am I
I'm
gonna
sorry.
I'm gonna separate
I'm
you
sitting
two?
sideways. I guess we
Really?
should. I mean,
I can put one of you guys in here. I can put you in the
There
other.
you go.
there is that social distancing thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Which
well,
I was
we're
going to
abiding
offer
by.
that.
you were going to offer.
I was going to offer that our official measurement is our Chihuahua, and if it's more than 2 inches, it needs to be swept because otherwise he cannot walk.
You throw him out in the yard, he just disappears. Like,
Yeah.
He would, yes.
Yeah, it's higher than 4 feet or
My-
4 inches.
My brother has a Papillon, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
got 12 inches the other day, 12 to 14 inches, and he didn't realize it had happened overnight, and he got up and the dog wanted out, and he opened the door, and he said she flew out, and then he thought she just literally flew backwards back into the house.
too deep, gotta go. No, mm-mm.
He said all he could see was little fuzzy ears.
Yeah, I'll pee somewhere else. Thank you very much. Well, I want to announce that Jean has a new member of her family. Tell us about your new critter.
Sure. So we were searching since the end of 2019 for a third member to our family, a third fur family member. And, 2020 was just a challenge in many ways, and this the least of it, certainly. But, every month, and I work for I volunteer at the Humane Society, so I have plenty of opportunity to meet wonderful dogs. And there were a couple failed adoptions. There was even a trip to another state to meet a dog who bit me. I mean, it was just it wasn't even you just couldn't find the right dog. It just was one calamity after another. And we had put in an application at the Airedale Terrier Rescue and Adoption a year ago in December, and that was when our third dog at that time had passed away, and so we were eager to fill that spot, if you will. And my husband grew up with Airedales. He absolutely loves them. But they're a hunting dog, and they're very high energy. So to find one that would be compatible with two smaller dogs, we have a pug and a Chihuahua, was the challenge. And we like senior dogs, so we're not getting a puppy, we're getting an older dog. And through all of this, we checked in, and we're checked in with regularly throughout the year about, well, maybe this dog, and well, maybe that dog, but just not easy to find. We got a call 3 weeks ago, right before Christmas, and she said, I think we've got the dog for you. And I was just elated, right, to even hear those words.
Yeah.
And then you're a little apprehensive, having gone through what you did the whole year. And I'm like, okay, I hope so, I pray so.
I don't want to give my heart away.
Exactly. And she came into the house, and she has just, talk about truly a Christmas miracle. She has been our blessing. It took her maybe two getting stepped on by the blind pug to realize that you have to lift your head up when she's walking towards you, and now she walks right under her. And
nice.
and then just the getting acclimated, and she's been wonderful. She realized that when the Chihuahua growls, he just wants to be left alone. He's a cranky old man, and it's all good. And
I know how that is.
It really
We know how that is.
So it's been amazing to me just how quickly they've gotten along. So that's huge.
That's good news. And I know you went through a couple of different names, that you finally settled on one, and I don't know if you want to release that, since the paparazzis are always after your dogs. So
I know, right? Well, she has a wonderful history in that. She was born into a AKC family that purposely, breeds Airedales and to better the breed. And her given name was Thank You for the Music, which is just so lovely. And I know, and she didn't respond to any part of that. I tried thank you, I tried music, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And then she, we tried, I told my husband, I'm like, she's got to have a good name, because she's, she was a show dog and, and all this. And he's like, well, if more names are better, I think we should call her Sassy Frassy Kiss My Assy.
What?
You got a show dog. You better be sure that dog's going to win, coming into a name with a name like that. And he said, no, we're dead last. And I went,
I couldn't announce that name with a straight face. I just couldn't.
You should have seen his face, Gene.
his jaw dropped,
It's bordering
actually.
a little here, but we're all right.
Yeah. And I told her she should call him Sassy, or her Sassy, but they still had
or
to.
Sassafras.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Sassafras, too. Well, what she really responds to, and responded to right away, which was kind of cool, is Silly Sally Sue. So her name is Silly Sally Sue.
Oh.
Yeah.
What do you call her when you just want to call her?
Silly or
Silly.
Silly Sally. I mean, it comes out
Silly
pretty quick. And yeah,
Sue.
yeah.
That's great.
See, I've always wanted my animals to name themselves.
Yeah.
So usually something for 19 years I had a Siamese cat whose name was Meow because she never shut up.
Is it a female?
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up.
No comment.
But I always tried to have them name themselves. So
So how'd you come up with Talladega?
oh well, the dogs.
Geez, I wonder.
The dogs all have to be named NASCAR names.
but the cats can name themselves.
The cats can name themselves.
I see.
The dogs have to have NASCAR names. Were you cueing me for commercial?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
Gene, we
time
have to
to
go
take
to
a break.
commercial.
We do, but we
Okay.
will be back with more with Jean. We've got so much interesting stuff to talk about. She's got several things out, and we've got some questions. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Steve over at Mr. Ed's Family Restaurant in Canyon City says regardless of what goes on, Mr. Ed's will remain open serving up all your favorites from the menu. Oh, yeah. Just call Mr. Ed's at 275-5833 to stay on top of the current status. You can still place your order and Mr. Ed's will have it ready for you when you get there. Oh, yeah. Mr. Ed's Family Restaurant, still up and running. Call Mr. Ed's Family Restaurant at 275-5833.
Take control of your money with Dave Ramsey's Leave Money Stress Behind, a 9-week course that teaches step-by-step how to create a budget, pay off debt, spend wisely, and save for the future. The course begins on Tuesday, January 19th at 6:30 p.m. at the Seventh-day Adventist Church, 3180 East Main Street, Canyon City. Limited spots are available to allow for social distancing, so call and reserve your spot today at 719-429-5867.
There was a time when people loved to listen to their favorite music on the radio.
KRLN weather,
That
sunny,
time
cool,
was
and
earlier this
breezy
week.
today with north winds.
Don't you love surprises? Radio is full of surprises. According to Edison Research, radio is by far the #1 source of entertainment in the car. More than streaming, more than CDs, and more than satellite. Reach 9 out of 10 people with your message on radio. You'll be pleasantly surprised.
Call Royal Gorge Broadcasting today at 275-7488.
KRLN weather, sunny, cool, and breezy today with north winds at 10 to 15. High today around 47. Mostly clear skies tonight, the low near 22. Then partly cloudy and mild tomorrow with light winds at a high of 49. 23 degrees our overnight low after a high of 55 yesterday. Currently 33 degrees at the weather station.
Radio 1400 KRLN.
We are back with Lynn Donovan, Sue Haas, and I forgot that I told Sue to bring us back in. You know what? I'll just sit back and shut up. Go ahead, Sue.
Too late.
We're back.
Sorry.
With Sue and Lynn and Jean Alfieri. And we're going to talk about Zuggy the Pug, and we're going to talk about rescue dogs and writing.
And writing and journaling. But first, let me tell
What a
you.
great combination.
It is a good combination. What's so nice about you, Jean, you're versatile. Jean was originally born in Chicago, but she had enough sense to make it to Colorado. Shall I just put it that way?
Originally born.
Did I sound like I was reading her bio? Because I was trying to. She's lived everywhere. She's lived in Illinois and Indiana and Texas. Good for you. Wisconsin and Arizona. And like I said, she had enough sense to get to Colorado and just stay put. Her and her husband rescue vintage puppies all the time. And
whenever possible.
Yes, there's an interesting conversation we may have time to have about her and her husband's difference of the number of dogs one should have in one's home. They have a very different opinion on that one. But they have 3, so apparently somebody coerced the other. Anyway.
That's one advantage to
we'll
not
just
having a
move on.
husband. I can have dogs.
She has a husband.
Touche. So, yes.
Guy too. Zuggy is the name that she has used to write several children's books, and I own several of those because my grandchildren love Zuggy the Pug. And Zuggy is his pen name, again, because we have to be careful of the paparazzi. And so there's other things she does, and it kind of stemmed from Zuggy, or the pug that she had, because after the first pug had passed on, they all sat around the table and was just, the way you do when someone you love is gone, you talk about all the cool things you remember about them. And she thought, this is really important. And so she put together what would you call it? It's a tool. It's a book, but it helps you
It's a guided-
journal. Go ahead.
Yes, it's a guided journal, and really, yes, both of these things have come from the same place.
Yeah.
They've just kind of manifested in different ways.
Different ways,
And Lynn,
yes.
if you'd like, I'd be happy to give you the introduction to the book that's going to be released next month.
Okay, let's do that. Go ahead.
Okay. His name was Wyatt, a small dog who filled the room with his big, boisterous personality. Wyatt picked me, no doubt about it. I had gone to the Humane Society looking for a specific breed, not his. Yet there he was, sitting proudly in the passenger seat next to me on our way home. A 25-pound chunk of lovable pug. His tongue bobbed from his mouth, eyes squinted at the cool AC hit his face. Occasionally he would gaze out the window to take in the desert view. More frequently, he looked at me with an unmistakable admiration I knew was misplaced. He tilted his head as if saying, "Hello, human," to which I was compelled to reply, "Hello, pug." That started an almost 10-year dialogue between me and Wyatt.
Yeah.
Our terms of endearment quickly grew, and Wyatt was a great listener. He heard all about how my fiancé and I had called off our engagement. I was sad, but Wyatt made me smile, as he did when he greeted my new boyfriend, who would turn out to be my husband, and when we all moved from Arizona to Colorado. It was quite a decade. When he died, I was devastated. He brought so much joy and laughter to my life. The thought of our great adventures possibly being forgotten made my heart ache even worse. To fend off the blues, I started journaling our fabulous memories. I cried, but it felt good, somehow therapeutic. That started a new journey. There is nothing that can replace Wyatt's beautiful spirit, but writing about his silly, sweet, and stubborn personality helped me mend. I had no idea that Zuggy the Rescue Pug would become Wyatt's living legacy. It was a labor of love to self-publish a collection of short story poems starring my precious pup. In going through this process, I realized how much of our human legacy is lost within a single generation. So I created a self-guided journal to capture and celebrate the amazing stories of your life. An upcoming companion journal is dedicated to the fur heroes in our family. Whether it be in writing or other medium, I encourage you to capture your stories while they're fresh. Embrace your blessings and hold them close. Appreciate the love, laughter, and even the tears, all the many stories surrounding the life and times of you.
That is wonderful. And that is the introduction to Blessed to Be Your Dog. And that book, that journaling guide, will be released February 20th, which is a Saturday. And there's a special reason why you're releasing it that day. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, that is Love Your Pet Day. So, there are holidays for everything.
That's
And
right.
as I was looking through the calendar, it struck me. I'm like, oh, yeah, we're doing that.
That's
Love Your
when
Pet
it's
Day.
got to be. Yep, I hear you. So
Yeah.
Love Your Pet Day is February 20th, and that's the day that this Blessed to Be Your Dog. Now, if you've been listening to our show before, you've seen Jean, or you've heard Jean. You haven't seen her. She released her first guided journaling was Blessed to Be You, correct?
Correct. And actually, it's blessed to be me. So
Me.
it's,
Okay,
it's really
I wasn't sure
yeah.
which pronoun.
Yeah.
Blessed to be me. And it guides you in journaling about yourself, your life. Just it's an awesome book, and I have one, and we're actually talking about using it in our Williams. Yep, my tongue's not working. I'm here, but my tongue stayed
We're
at
back.
home. It's in the recliner. Yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
We wanted to use it in our women's Bible study because, what better aspect of a Bible study than to explore your own life, the good things, the blessings, and all of that. And that's kind of how we're using it, and in a way modifying her original intent. But we feel like this will
Sure,
help.
that's wonderful.
Yeah, it'll help a lot of our people to develop what they want to say as their testimony for their life. And a lot of people have
Yes.
said, I don't know how to put that together, which is what made me go, oh, well, I have a friend that has this journal guide.
Because I said that to Jean when we talked about this before, is I don't know how to do this.
Right. But
Right.
her
Yes.
journaling guide is very helpful, and it breaks it up, and it has quotes, and it has just all kinds of things. And this Blessed to Be Your Dog, you've kind of laid it out in the same format, have you not?
Yes, and you know what's interesting, Lynn, is I did have the opportunity to go a couple of times this year to different bookstores to promote and sell it. There wasn't the great opportunity I would have loved, but the feedback I had almost instantly for Blessed to Be Me was, is there a section I can talk about my dog? And the answer was yes, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't like, oh, you have pages to fill about your dog. It was, who's the family dog? Because if there was a family dog, you will never forget them.
Right. Exactly.
And, you know, what I heard was, oh, you know, I just really wished there was more space. I'm like, well, of course you do, because why would I think I'm the only one that wants to write about, you know, that special that special spirit? And so this is designed the same in that there's fun, inspirational quotes, there's space, there's coloring pages. But what's different about this one is it's broken up into 2 sections. So the first section is 7 story starters or prompts that you, as the dog's person, will tell. And so there are story starters from the person's perspective. And then the last 7, in the second section of the book, there are story starters that prompt the dog. So you are actually going to speak in the dog's voice and tell the story from the dog's perspective. And that just is fun. I mean, it adds a really unique quality to the book in that we all know what the dog's thinking, and we all know how they'd say it.
Yep. Yeah, who
so
hasn't?
that gives you an opportunity.
Yeah, who hasn't put words in their dog's mouth?
Right.
You know, I've got to stick a story in here real quick, Jean.
Okay.
I had a Schnattitude, a little miniature Schnauzer, and I was blessed to have her own me for several years. I got her as an older dog, but we were walking. She loved to walk, and we were out walking one day at Christmas time. And as we were walking down the sidewalk, there was one of these automated deer.
Oh,
yeah.
And, you know, I was just kind of moseying along the snowy sidewalk, and she was out on her leash, and all of a sudden you hear this, you know, vicious roar, and she is just, and in the second it took me to look up, she realized that it was an automated deer.
okay.
And she turned around and she looked at me, and I knew, she said, well, you know, I would have protected you even if it was real, right?
She would have.
And she would have. But it was so funny because just in that instant of me seeing her and her realizing.
Now, after you got done, you reached down and wound the dog back up.
Yeah.
She was a good girl, yes.
Yeah, that is too funny.
That's a great story. Mine always talk to me at breakfast and dinner. Hey, Mom, you're not fast enough. Hey, I'm starving to death.
Yeah.
Hey, how about some,
you really,
you know, that's when I hear
I have a
it.
terrier that does that now.
Are you really going to eat all that? You know, you're a little overweight. Why don't you let me help you with that?
Yeah, I'll finish that for you, Mom. I got in trouble for that last night because I gave my plate to the boxer, and apparently boxers can't eat red marinara sauce.
Okay.
So I said, I'm not cleaning that up.
Oh, dear.
But it was
Okay.
my fault, I admit it.
Right. Well, my littlest dachshund will get on the floor in front of my chair at the dinner table. And I really don't appreciate this, but she thinks this is her spot. And she lays her head just on my leg. And so you look down and all you see is these 2 eyes.
Uh-huh.
I love you, Mommy. You're my favorite mommy.
Wait.
Anything you want to drop, I'll be happy to take care of for you.
Nobody cares. I don't even have to wear a bib anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
The dogs will take care of
They
it.
clean it all
Yeah,
up.
Tay's face again.
They're
there we
so
go.
good. We need to
There's
break
this
for
information. Yeah, we definitely really
we need to
this.
break for another commercial.
Going completely off the rails
One to
here.
let Tay get, you know, straightened out. No. Anyway, we
I
will
gotta
be
get back
right
to
back
focus.
with Jean Alfieri after these messages.
Tell me if this sounds about right. When your furniture wears out or breaks, you replace your furniture. So you don't go furniture shopping until you need to.
But that's not how most people shop at Classic Furniture. Most people come in to see what we have all the time. Our inventory changes daily. And then when they find that perfect piece, that piece they didn't even know they were looking for, they move things around in their home and make room for that new furniture.
I guess that's one way to shop for furniture.
However you shop for furniture, shop Classic Furniture, 510 Main.
Canyon City.
People make all kinds of mistakes with life insurance, like having some coverage but not enough to keep your family in the house, or only having life insurance through work and then losing your job. Want to avoid those mistakes? Get an Allstate agent. They can help you get the coverage your family needs at an affordable price. Are you in good hands?
Call Canyon City Allstate agent Trent Rundell today and ask for a complimentary life insurance review. 275-5762. Life insurance is offered by Allstate Life Insurance Company, Northbrook, Illinois, and Lincoln Benefit Life Company, Lincoln, Nebraska.
A Nielsen study has indicated that radio is comfort food. A recent Nielsen survey found that 83% of consumers say they're listening to as much or more radio as they were before the pandemic. Importantly, 42% of customers say that the radio has helped them deal with the outbreak. 46% say that radio has helped them know what stores are open and where they can shop locally. So if you're out there listening to this radio broadcast, thank you, because radio is comfort food for our listeners.
We're back with Right Time Radio and our guest, Jean Alfieri. And we got our cues right.
I kept my mouth shut.
No, but you pointed.
She poked me.
Yeah.
I did poke her.
Time to go. Let's go.
I can barely reach her, but I did poke her.
Yeah, she moved because she was kicking me earlier.
I'm sorry.
We're doing the social distancing thing just in case anybody is concerned.
Yes,
we are.
We are.
Yeah.
Jean.
And I'm especially social distanced
You
today.
are.
Exactly.
You are.
thank
You
But
are
you know
the-
what? I'll tell you guys a joke later about this. Oh, never mind.
Okay, never mind. He says never mind.
I can't
That's it.
say-
He
I-
brought
I-
it up, and then he goes,
Well, it's a tease.
okay.
I'll have to tell you off air because I don't think I
All
can
right,
get away with
off
it on
air.
air.
Oh, there's a, okay.
Jean,
It's not dirty.
remind us, are you self-published or do you go through a publisher?
I am self-published. The first Zuggy book was, well, traditionally it would be hybrid. It was a hybrid publishing
Okay.
contract.
Well,
And
explain
then
what that
after
is.
that,
Explain what a hybrid is.
Sure. Right. So traditionally published would be that you give all the rights up to your book to a company that's going to do it all, right? They're going to market, they're going to promote it, they're going to get it into bookstores, et cetera. And it's very difficult to do, and it has always been difficult to do, which is why self-publishing has become so popular, because unless you have an agent or someone representing you, it's very difficult to get into the major publishing houses that are really effective at penetrating the market and getting you in front of schools and libraries and everything, every place that you'd like your book to be.
Right.
So an alternative to that are these other publishing companies that will, in the case of children's books at least, offer you illustrations, they will edit, they will get you into like Barnes & Noble where you wouldn't be able to get just as a self-published author. And so I went that route and was pleased with it, except for the money that I put into it. So, again, in a traditional publishing sense, you don't pay anything. They will pay you, but your book has to sell in order for you to make money and for the publishing company to make money. In a hybrid situation, it is similar to what is also considered vanity publishing, which is I just want to get it out there and I'll pay for it, and you completely financially support the publishing of the book. That's the vanity. So that's the opposite side of that.
Right.
A hybrid is right in between. So you're still contributing money to the process, but after you do sell so many copies, typically, and contracts are different depending on the company, you will start earning money back. And it can work that way. And that was the type of contract I had. I paid into it. I had the illustrations done because I didn't have an illustrator at the time. And then as sales exceeded a certain amount, I was able to get money back. And that contract ran 2 years. So it wasn't for the lifetime of the book. It was simply for the 2 years, which I really liked because I wanted to have the rights back to me. And in that time, I really learned a lot about how you get your own ISBN number, which is the code on the back, and how you can do it yourself. And at that point, I went, wow, I think I can probably pull this off by myself.
Right.
And so that's what I've done since then, retaining all the rights and controlling the marketing and the PR, which is a lot of work. So I wouldn't discourage someone from going traditional if they want to.
Yeah.
But it's all a little give and take, right? You have a lot of work to do, but if you can get in with even just local places and get yourself on local news, it's possible. I'll just offer that. It is possible.
Yeah.
Well, and those rejection slips are hard to take, having, been through that. That's your baby that you send out there, and somebody says, "Oh, it was okay, but it's not for us." Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I'll offer to you, and tell me if you agree with this, sometimes what's worse is just not hearing back at all. I'd love to hear something, even if it's no, and if you could tell me why, but to just not hear anything, you wait months and go, okay.
Did they even look at it?
That's a no.
Yeah, has anybody even looked at it? Do I dare send it to someone else? Because
exactly.
these haven't responded. I don't know.
Yeah, what is the proper etiquette?
And that's a great, yes, that's a great point, because respectfully, you should only send one at a time. But when you consider how many years it would take to get it out to different places, if you're truly doing that,
Yeah, and I've been that route. The whole late 80s and early 90s, that was what I was going through, was waiting and waiting. And, the first published story was, I have an editor.
I understand that. Well, and there's shortcuts to that, too, per se, because you can go to writers' conferences, which will schedule you with an agent or even a publishing house. So you can, there are ways to not just be...
Which is what I'm learning here.
Yeah.
What we're learning on this show.
A call, sort of, sending something out with no contact with them whatsoever up front. This way you can go to a conference, you get them to look at, X number of words or pages, and they at that point can say, yes, we're interested, please send it. You use their name. So it kind of gets you a little further in to the process. I'm self-published, and that takes all the heartache out of it. I mean, I know this book's going to get published, but it also increases the work, because I've got to be up on what is the latest marketing trend, what works the best, what doesn't work.
And then how do you guys do that, Jean and Lynn? How do you make sure that you know what you're doing?
Yeah, well,
there are regular webinars.
Know what you're doing.
Well, that's relative, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, there are different organizations that I belong to. So there's the Society for Children's Books Writers and Illustrators, and there's the American Christian Fiction Writers Group. So there are different groups that offer webinars on different things that we'll actually talk about promoting and PR. And what's interesting to me is, Lynn, I'd be curious, when it gets to the editing stage, right, you need, and the reason why self-publishing was frowned upon for years was because people were putting crap out there. I mean, they were putting books that, weren't edited and that had poor grammar, and, I mean, it was just bad.
It was hard to read.
And so when you look at that piece of self-publishing, it's really important that you do go through all the steps and have other eyes besides yours look at them.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of the difference, again, what you said between the vanity with, I'm going to put this out, I am going to tell this, and some of them were bad.
Were they? Yeah. I know.
Exactly.
I don't know all vanity companies. I know some. I know one, and it was out of Kansas, and they actually did run it through grammar check and stuff like that. And I don't mean a software.
That's
I mean
excellent.
a person actually read it and proofread and as a self-publisher, I have adhered to myself. I mean, literally, she will never, ever, until she dies and goes to heaven, she will never, ever not be my editor. I have just attached myself to this one person because she has a degree in English. She's very good. She's proved herself to be extremely good. She goes through it more than once, and I pay her to edit my document. So she's the first person to really see it. Then it goes to another woman that I call a beta reader. And a beta reader is someone who reads it for continuity, If it's in a series, is it in line with what's already been said from previous books? Do you start out with them having red hair and green eyes and end up with blue eyes and brown hair? Yeah, stuff like that. Does this story make sense? Hey, you mentioned this lady had a baby and we never again heard about this baby. Is she leaving it alone in a bedroom somewhere? She finds those kind of things in your book.
And does this piece of the story move the action forward, or does it just kind of sit there on the page?
Are you just looking for words to fill?
Yeah, she does that too. And she's initially, when she started doing this, she was hesitant because she didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. And I'm like, hurt my feelings because I want this book to be good. I don't want to publish something and have the reviews saying she had a baby at the beginning of the book and we never heard about it again, because my mind is on the plot and I forgot all about that little baby.
Well, and if you're doing very occasionally multiple things, you may leave this story alone for a month and you go back and you read a couple of chapters and go, oh, okay, I know where I left off.
Yeah.
Oops, maybe not.
Really? That's when you end up with a redhead that ends up being a blonde. Because you forget.
It's true.
Or she's
I've heard an analogy, Len, that really...
Yeah.
I heard an analogy that really stuck with me one time, and it was a writer that doesn't want critical feedback is like a boxer that doesn't want to get punched.
There you go.
There you go.
I like that.
You just got to kind of have a tough skin about it. And I got to say, it wasn't easy for me starting out, and perhaps you felt the same way.
Yes.
But now you're right. I separate it. This is going to be a work that people are going to read. Do I want it to be a quality work, or do I want it to be just selfishly for me?
Exactly. Somebody that buys one book by Jean Alfieri and says, well, that was okay.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Exactly.
Yeah, crickets. Yeah.
Right?
No, we want them to look for Jean Alfieri. We want them to look for Lynn Donovan.
And I
say,
love it. I love it when I get a comment on Facebook, and I even get emails that say, that was so good, when's the next one? I mean, that makes my day.
It makes your week. It makes the whole month. I have a similar story. I went to the Children's Hospital with Zuggy the pug at Thanksgiving, and for the kids that had to be at the hospital and couldn't leave, I did a reading in the atrium. Of course, this was not last year.
Yes, of course.
And then gave the book to the kids. There was a 3-year-old girl who, in advance of the reading, was very shy, and she had braces on both her legs from her hips all the way down to her feet, and she was in a little wagon, and her mom and dad brought her down in this little wagon, and I asked her if she had a dog, and she would kind of nod and look at Dad, and then the parents would talk to me, and at the point that I started the reading, she just lit up, this little thing that wouldn't say a word.
Yeah.
She is laughing. She's pointing at the pictures, giggling, talking. And I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is what it's all about. And at the end of it, I left the space that everybody was seated in and walked over to find out how we were going to deliver the other books around the hospital. But my husband stayed there, and he was chatting. And later he told me, he said, after you left, she made her dad read that story to her again. I went, oh.
That's why you sat there and wrote that.
That's the power and the joy of getting our stories out and getting our words out.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, you can't help but kind of like your own stories that you write, but when someone else who is not your mother, and it's not your sister, and it's not your best friend, someone you basically don't know, says to you, I love the way you write. You're just like, oh, thank you.
Yes, absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Day. Yeah, those things are wonderful. And they're few and far between, and you wish you could just kind of put them in a little picture frame and hang them on the wall.
Right. Yeah,
Gosh.
and for me, that's what part of what was difficult about 2020 was because I couldn't, visit and do an author visit to the schools where the kids swarm you and tell you how great you are, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Throw your hair over your shoulder. Yes, thank you.
Yes, right.
The time is flying by. We have got to squeeze one more set of commercials in, and then we will be back to talk some more to Jean Alfieri. Don't go away.
benefits of volunteering make a difference in your own life, but it also helps so many others. Family Crisis Services develops and delivers training and education to schools, churches, community groups, first responders, and many other groups. They present information on domestic violence, sexual assault, and those effects on children. This community message is brought to you by Zimmerman's Auto Body. Make a difference. To help out, call 275-2429. Again, 275-2429.
Roe Gorge Radio is Star Country 104.5 FM and AM 1400 KRLN. And we, along with area businesses, want to give you free money with our Customer Appreciation Day we call Money Day. Listen, the final Money Day of 2020 will be January 26th, in which the hopper will be emptied, and the first Money Day of 2021 will be February 16th. To play, simply register online at RoyalGorgeRadio.com. Good luck and Happy New Year from Royal Gorge Radio. Royal Gorge Broadcasting is AM 1400 KRLN and Star Country 104.5 FM, leading the way in high school sports play-by-play coverage.
Stoner's rock block three, bullseye. Ball's gonna try a three. Down the lane, goes for the dunk, and he got it. Runners away from first and second base. Martino ready to kick in the pitch. That's well hit. High fly ball, deep to right field. That one's got a chance to go, and it's gone.
Moments like those return in the latter part of January with high school basketball. Keep listening for more details. From AM 1400 KRLN and Star Country 104.5 FM, Royal Gorge Radio.
KRLN weather, sunny, cool, and breezy today with north winds at 10 to 15. High today around 47. Mostly clear skies tonight, the low near 22. Then partly cloudy and mild tomorrow with light winds at a high of 49. 23 degrees our overnight low after a high of 55 yesterday. Now from the Weather Center, we have 38 degrees.
Radio 1400 KRLN.
And we're back with Right Time Radio and our guest Gene Alfieri and Lynn Donovan and Sue Hawes.
Yeah, hi,
we're
Sue.
back. And we made a list because, we're always worried about filling the time.
Right.
Which never
turns out to never be a problem.
Turns out to never be a problem. But, Gene, one of the things on the list is NaNoWriMo.
Yes.
What is that?
Go,
So
take it away,
NaNoWriMo
Gene.
yeah.
COVID's cousin.
No.
Thankfully not. So that is a competition, really a self-established, if you will, competition about taking the month of November and writing as much as you can. And it's about word count. It's all about getting words out and in an attempt to, create as much as you can. And of course, what is it? Our motto is, write drunk, edit sober.
Yes,
so
exactly.
just put it out and get it out and then go back and look at it.
Yeah, no self-editing, just write. Don't go back and read it, nothing. Just keep moving forward for 30 days in November.
Yes.
Including your Thanksgiving
Did you do
time.
that, Lynn?
Oh, yeah, I do it every year. I do it every year.
So you tell us how your experience is, because I have not done it yet, and I was curious how that works for you.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you first, it stands for National Novel Writing Month. So that's your NaNoWriMo.
Okay.
And the goal is 50,000 words. So the goal is, in the month of November, you are going to sit down and you are going to just simply write a story. You're not going to self-edit. You're not going to go back and read. You're not going to do research. You're going to just sit down and write a story and keep moving. And at the end of that month, if you reach your goal of $50,000, hello.
Wow.
50,000 words, you basically have yourself a book. And now you might spend the next 9 months editing it, but you have basically got a book. And that's something a lot of people have never accomplished. So you've got that. And so I hate to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you because it's like total transparency. Several of my friends who now we publish several books in a year, like 20 some odd, we have increased that. So we have our own self little goal among us. We now set ours at 100,000.
Wow.
I didn't make that. I didn't make that this year. I made it at 80,000. But I have some author friends who have made that and exceeded it. So they
That's
ended up
incredible.
Yeah, they ended
Yeah.
up with 3 or 4 books that they then. But then you trust me, you have to go back then and edit and polish. And,
I agonize over each paragraph. I'll write a page and then I go back over the page and I could say that better. I can change
And
this.
this is why joining a NaNoWriMo November would be very good for you, because it literally forces you to stop that and keep writing. And it's hard. It's hard the first time you do it. It really is, because you want to go back so bad and you want to proofread so bad.
I know
And
I can
no,
fix that.
No, keep going. And the way they have it set up, there's actual a place on the internet where you can interact with other authors. They set it up like you're at camp. And so you can get a group of people and you're supposedly in a cabin together. And it's just like a little talk, what do you call those things where you pull people, a room, like a talk room that you can
A chat
pull.
room.
A chat room. Yeah,
Chat
it's
room,
like
yeah.
that. And then Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of that, there's total buzz all through November of people talking about where the word count is, what have they done today, maybe what didn't let them write that day. And everybody's encouraging you and, go, you can do this. I know you can do this. And so it's like a worldwide group of people encouraging each other to meet that goal every day. And they break it down and they show you, they have a line chart, and you input how much you've written so far, and they show a line where you are from your goal, if you've exceeded it.
Cool.
They give you little badges when you've met certain...
I like little badges.
Yeah, when you meet certain milestones. You can put in badges for yourself, like I put on pants today instead of wearing pajamas, literally.
Thank you.
Yes, you can make up badges for yourself that just encourages you. And like I said, for someone like you, Sue, this is an excellent thing to get involved in. And then someone like me and Jean, who kind of are disciplined, we can augment it.
I am
and
not disciplined.
Make it a little harder on ourselves or whatever. Set our goal a little higher and make it as much of a
and
challenge.
it keeps it fun, right? It keeps it fun, even though, like, for you, Lynn, going that far over the 50, have you found year over year that you've done it, that you've come out of it with a book? I mean, I know you get a lot of writing done, but do you produce those books that you write in November?
I do. And
Nice.
if I thought about it a little bit, I could tell you which ones they were. But yeah, I will turn
That's
around and right as soon as November 31 or whatever it is done, I go right back to that very first one and get it polished and figure out where it can go in my publishing schedule. And that's another thing good about being a self-publisher. I can publish it whenever I want to.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait for a publisher to say, okay, we'll do that in 2023.
Yeah, we'll bring this out. Yeah.
But I usually try to do, during NaNoWriMo, because it's in November, I look at what I have to do. Because I have a whiteboard where I have everything scheduled of when it is planned to be published. So those are the books I work on. So when I get to the end of the month of November, I have those books written. Now all I have to do is polish them, run them through the editor, run them through the beta reader. And then I also have what's called ARC readers, and that is advanced reader copies. Do you do that, Jean?
Yes.
And
I do, yes.
Those are the other sets of eyes. So my grammar editor looks at it, then my beta reader, then my ARC readers, and I've literally got 14 ARC readers. So I send it to them for free. It works out really well for them because most of them are on a limited income, so they get free books. They read through them. They commit to writing a review on Amazon, which is very important for authors. But they also come back to me and say, did you mean to say this? Or did you mean to spell, you spelled it one way here and you spelled it another way? Because even those two expert professionals miss stuff.
Right. You run it through spell check a couple of times, and it's...
Well, I ran it through an editor and a beta reader, and they still missed stuff.
still missed it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Sure.
and then sometimes...
Well, and how often...
Go ahead.
And I was going to say, how often do we read a book and see that there's still errors in it that are traditionally published? I mean, it happens.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen mistakes in Stephen King books, so I don't feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's like you're reading along and you're going, whoa, where was the editor when they wrote that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I do that all the time.
And some are worse than others.
And some are worse than well,
Right.
then I don't read them anymore.
Yeah. But the ARC readers are, like I said, that's 14 other sets of eyes, maybe 12, maybe all 14. And that all happens before I hit publish.
Mm-hmm.
So my book is as good as I can get it out there. But yes, when I walk away from November in the 1st of December, I've typically got about 3 to 4 books to put into the publishing schedule.
Amazing. Wow. And are you exhausted or are you eager to get back to them?
You know, you're kind of tired, and you're kind of tired of being so focused, move forward. So it is kind of nice when November's over and you can go back to reading back over what you wrote before you start writing again and being lazy
very
about it.
disciplined, and she's a morning person too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, like I wanted to say something to her at, I think it was quarter to 9 at night, and I'm like, oh, I better not talk to Lynn right now because she's probably asleep because she gets up and she writes, and I can't even function. Until noon.
Yeah.
And she's written half a
I'm
book.
done by noon. By noon, I'm ready to go do other things. Yeah. That's just the way it goes.
Jean, do you have a set writing schedule like that?
I don't. I'm a morning person as well, so but I will write whenever the inspiration strikes. So I'm kind of a pantser when it comes to that way regarding, instead of just being prepared and committed at a certain time of day. But what I love about what Lynn does, too, is she really, she respects that for herself. I've tried to reach out to her at different times, and I've heard, I'm in the cave. We'll get back to you. And it's just, I love the acknowledgement. She heard me, but not now. And so I really respect that.
Yeah, that's code for I'm writing right now. I can't do that.
I've got to stay in that world.
Yeah, because
right
when
now.
it's flowing, it's flowing, and you've got to stick with it. So, and that's when my words flow, is in the morning more so than the afternoon. Yeah. If I'm up against the deadline, I can make myself write in the afternoon, but the whole time I'm writing, I'm just, there's that little tickle in the back of my brain going, this really isn't very good. And then I read it the next day and go, oh, that was kind of good.
That wasn't so bad. Yeah.
So it's just my brain just flows and functions and keeps the thought in one place and all that. And I am a pantser. I can literally start a book with a snippet of an idea, and I have no idea what's going to happen. And when I'm in a multi-author series and I have other authors contact me and say, well, is so-and-so going to end up with such and such?
Yet.
And I'm like, I really couldn't tell you right now.
See, that's what I do is I walk
it drives people crazy who aren't that, and I find it interesting because I've tried to operate the other way, and it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of funny. And the people who are planners just gnash their teeth.
No, I just sit down and write a paragraph or whatever, and then I get up and putter around something else.
Gosh, we're getting to the top of the hour, Tay. We got a little more time to visit.
You get about 40 seconds.
40 seconds.
Do you,
Sue? So, it would be a little bit of time.
It would be quick, but it'll. Sue, do you think you're a pantser or a plotter?
I definitely am a pantser. I mean, like that song I wrote was literally just inspired by seeing the kids unpack the car.
Unpack the car, yeah.
So
it was the 12 days of going to Grandma's house or something.
House, yeah.
That
Jean,
was awesome.
It was wonderful to talk to you again. I wish you could have been here.
Me too. And next time I will be there. I'm looking forward to it. Yay. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, we love having you.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes.
It is, yes.
It is. It's so much fun to have you. And you're, like I said, you're so versatile. You've got the journal, you've got the books. It's just amazing. So go on Amazon.com and look up Jean Alfieri, Alfieri, or Zuggy the Pug, and you'll find all of her books, and you can get them into your own home.
Thanks so much.
Hey, you're welcome.
We are Royal Gorge Broadcasting, AM 1400, KRLN, Canyon City, Florence, and Penrose.